So let me walk you through doing this in Microsoft Access because it helps to uh, helps you to understand this, I think, a little bit better if you actually do one. I'm going to go ahead and download this doctors.mdb database. Sorry, that is stored. Yeah, the doctors that's stored in week 4. May not be week 4 if in the future. So I've gone ahead and downloaded it. This is like one of those cooking shows where the guy goes ahead and cooks the casserole ahead of time, and then he suddenly pulls it out of the oven for you. Here's a database, and this is actually a geodatabase because you can tell because of all of these GDB underscore tables. If you are ever in a situation where you have access to the GDB tables, do not ever mess with them. They'll screw up the whole geodatabase. But we have 2 tables in here that have content. One, counties, and this is actually the table from a feature class, and you can see it has a shape, and it has some other information that's specific to the county itself. This is a thing that you do quite often in ArcGIS, in that you take a non-spatial table, connect it to a spatial table, so you can now show it on a map. We have another, this would be the spatial table. We have another table called Practicing Physicians. And where is Practicing Physicians? There we go. And what this is a table produced by Colorado Department of Health, in which they show estimates of the number of doctors in particular counties, etc. Okay, so there's 66 records here, etc. Now, I am going to do something that I probably should have done before I let you have this data, and that is I'm going to sort on this field called County P020 so that I can have all the zeros here. What has happened is that there are a lot of holes in the data, and instead of using a complex shape, they've actually used separate shapes to identify the holes. So I am going to select all of the ones where county P02 is population is 0, and there should be, I believe, 17. So there's 17 records, and I'm just going to hit the old delete key and get rid of those. Okay. If you do it wrong, you can always download the data again, because I don't want that to be in my result set. So now I just have 1 record per county, and it has some information about it, including the shape, which is what I really want to do. I'm going to save that. So here's what I want to do. I want a table that has the shape of a county, the county's name, and the estimate from 2004 and the rate from 2004. So you'll notice that counties is the only table that has the shape, and that Practicing Physicians is the only table that has estimate 04 and rate 04. County name is going to serve as our key field, and what we can do is, make sure, just in this case we can just eyeball it, but make sure that it meets the criteria for primary key. Are any of them null? Well, I guess technically this one is. Let's delete that record that doesn't exist, or that doesn't have any data in it. And are they unique? Well, take my word for it, they are. All right, and we can do the same thing with counties. Do they all have a value? Now, you'll notice in this one the word county is just the word county, and over here the word is county name. One thing you're going to have to do, look at your data. I mean, will Adams equal Adams over here? Do you have the correct name? Something as simple as this one is all caps and this one is mixed capitalization will affect the results. All right, so these are our 2 inputs, and we want a result set that has parts of each of them. Okay, the relationship here is counties.county name, or county, is equal to Practicing Physicians.county name. All right, So let's create ourselves a query that has a join in it. I'm just going to get rid of those, and we will create. And I'm going to click on Query Design. I'm going to go a little fast, but hopefully you can just stop the video and look at it. We are going to include counties. I'm going to hold down the Control key, click on Practicing Physicians, and click on Add. Whoops, what did I do? Somehow I added them twice. Yep, the beauty is I can remove those. All right, so this is the GUI, right? This is the graphic user interface so that you don't have to write code. Most people who do this professionally prefer to write the code, and maybe they use this as just sort of a starting off point. All right, so the first thing we're going to say is, what do we want? We want some fields from here, and we want some fields from here. Well, how do I know how these are related? This is what we're going to say. We said that county will contain the same values as county name. So I'm just going to click and drag and drop it. All right? It creates this stick, which represents the relationship. And if I right click on it, and you have to click it just right. So if you're not getting it, you're not getting this menu, go back and do it again. And you'll see that counties.county is equal to practicing physicians.county name. All right, so we have that right. That's the relationship. Now what we're going to want is the shape field from counties. You'll notice when I double click on this, it appears here. This is the design of my output result set. And I'm going to double click on county. I don't necessarily need county name, but I'm going to pop it in there anyway. And then I'm going to do estimate 04 and rate 04. Okay, because that's what we want. We want to put these numbers on this map, on the map at this location. All right, so let's run this thing. I'm going to click on the exclamation point here in the design ribbon. And what I get is, I get 63 records. Well, that's not enough, or that's not correct. It's not all of them, I guess is the word. All right, sort A to Z. But you see that everyone in here has a value. So what's going on here? Before you put your data on a map and everything, you should evaluate it and make sure that it's correct. What's happened is this is an inner join, right? So it only returns the records that have matches. So I'm going to right click on the ribbon here and click on design view. We're going to go back and we're going to turn this into an outer join because we don't think this has referential integrity, but we don't know what's missing. So in this case, we are going to include all records from counties and only those from practicing physicians where it's equal. This is just a fancy way of saying left join. If you run it again, we now get 64 records. And which one is problematic? Well, there we go. We can see this relatively easily. There is a value in the counties table, SUMMITT, and there's no match for that over in the practicing physicians table. So we've done a left outer join. We found one that's missing. Oops, I'm sorry. If I go back to design view, I'm just right clicking in the title bar there, go back to design view, and let's change this. Oops, sorry. Let's change the join properties. Yep, there we go, join properties. And we'll change it to number 3. Now, numbers 2 and 3 could be switched for yours. It just depends on which table you listed first. So they're a little bit arbitrary. Click run, and we're going to find that, oh, there is a Summit County in the practicing physicians table, but it has no match. They also have a record with Colorado, so they've basically totaled all of Colorado, and there's no match for that in the other table. We could get rid of that if we really wanted referential integrity. It's not that big a deal to me. what is the problem? Why don't they match? So this is the kind of thing that you might want to, that you'll have to look at. And actually what you'll find is that they're spelled differently. This one has 2 T's, this one has only 1. Okay, so I'm going to, whoops. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to go to our source table, the counties table, and we're going to fix this. I put my cursor in that box, and I click to get the Summit out of it, and then I just click to the next record. That data is now saved. I'm going to go back to the design view of this query and clicked on design and click run again. And this time we have 65 records. And this time it looks like Summit has actually matched. So we have both the shape and the numbers for that. Okay. So this is a common thing. What would have happened if you had just mapped it like this? Well, there would be a blank area in Summit County, and you would have to do one of those things like data unavailable or something like that. Make sure that the data is right before you go do that. So this is an example of basically using an outer join to detect referential integrity. And that's one of the things you're going to be doing tonight in the lab. Thanks, and move on to the lab.